Today I'm going to talk about criminal justice. First of all, a criminal charge can stay in your record forever and have consequences on your future. And learning how to handle a case properly can benefit not only you, but the people around you. I have worked for a criminal law firm for about 2 years as a legal assistant, managing files and evidence, intake processes, advising clients in the most efficient ways to handle their cases, and preparing cases for court proceedings. So I'll go ahead and explain 3 main points that are vital when handling a criminal case. First of all, what is a criminal offense? The second one is how do we classify offenses and what are the consequences? And the third one is how do we handle a criminal case? A criminal case or a criminal offense, in few words, can be described as a behavior prohibited by law. The most common offenses are speeding, driving without a license, driving under the influence, and other traffic infractions such as failing to yield, which are mainly accidents, and red lights, stop signs, etc. The law varies according to each state, and it also changes a lot as years go by. Now that I have explained what a criminal offense is, I can go ahead and tell you about how we classify criminal charges and some of the consequences. I always divide cases into 4 main types, which are traffic, misdemeanors, DUIs, and WLRs. These are not the only types of criminal offenses, but they're the most common. Traffic tickets often do not involve jail time, but you will get license and insurance points. Misdemeanors are divided into class 1, 2, and 3, which have up to 120 years in jail and a significant fine. DUIs, or driving while impaired, could be classified under traffic, but due to the severity of the case, we classify them on their own. WLRs mean driving while license revoked. It can be from a suspension from a DUI. It can be for failing to pay a fine, driving while on probation, or when you have a pending case. Criminal charges stay on your record forever, but there are some exceptions. Traffic tickets also stay on your record forever, but the license and insurance points go away every 3 years. Some nonviolent felonies and misdemeanors can be expunged or erased after 5 years, but the state has specific requirements. DUIs are one of the cases that are most difficult to fight in court, especially if you're charged more than once in a period of 7 years. A DUI means a year of suspension. 2 DUIs in 7 years mean 4 years of license suspension, and 3 DUIs in 7 years means your license is suspended for life. A DUI is a very serious charge. When involving death, it becomes harder to fight than a murder. And now that I have explained some of the consequences, you may ask yourself how to avoid them, which brings me to my 3rd point. A lot of people don't know how to properly handle a ticket or citation. Most people believe tickets should be paid. Sometimes that's what the police officers tells them, because your money benefits the state. Tickets should not be paid unless the charge doesn't carry any license or insurance points. Paying a ticket online or in person means pleading guilty to the charge, and it will stay in your record. The license and insurance points will stay in your record for 3 years. When getting a ticket or citation, you have 3 options, which are hiring your own lawyer, asking for a public defender, and presenting yourself. Whatever your case is, I strongly advise not to choose option 3. If you don't have money to hire a private lawyer, you may go to court and request an extension or a public defender. After this, you may ask yourself if the justice system is fair, and what is the process for handling the cases. The most common way of handling traffic tickets is to negotiate the dismissal or of a charge in exchange for pleading guilty for another charge. After pleading guilty to one charge, lawyers use what we call a PJC, which is a prayer for judgment continued. That way, the defendant doesn't get any points or negative consequences on the record. For DUIs, there are certain requirements before entering negotiations, such as community service, counseling or treatment for substance abuse, and paying a civil revocation fine of $100 if you have an alcohol concentration of greater than, equal or greater than 0.08. In my experience, I can't really tell if the system is fair. I can say it is imperfect, but none of our systems are. The justice system, as we all know, is mainly based on what people believe is right or wrong. It's also based on the interpretation of evidence, witnesses who may exaggerate or change their stories, and even some manipulation from the government. To sum it all up, criminal offenses have more consequences than what we think, especially offenses that put your life and the lives of others at risk, and it can have negative effects on our future. For example, when applying for a job. I have shared with you all the concept of a criminal offense, its consequences, and how to handle a case properly. I invite you to share this information with other people, mainly because I've noticed in the past 2 years as a legal assistant that most people don't know how the system works and how to handle these cases. Sometimes they even fail to appear to court because they're afraid or they don't know what the process is, which results in severe consequences. Most of the time, we ignore how a small decision or behavior can completely impact our life and the life of someone else. Before even considering driving after drinking, driving carelessly, think about the severity of your actions and how you can ruin not only your life, but someone else's life. Thank you.
Cool.